Improve it, peeps. Oh my God, I'm so excited for you to join the show today. Today, we are talking all about outside of the box professional development for emerging leaders. So if you are a leader who is in charge of any type of young leadership groups, leaders who are on the forefront of making it happen within your organization, tune into today's show. If you are a leader and you are not leading emerging leaders, but you just want some fantastic tips and tricks on how improv can transform your culture, tune into today's show. And if you're not currently leading anyone, tune in because we've got some awesome tips and tricks on how outside of the box professional development can help you. Today, I have my amazing friend, Adi Clerman, who is an early talent relationship manager at Gallagher and is based in New York City. She has extensive experience in recruitment and higher ed career services and has held positions at JP Morgan, Edelman, DePaul University, NYU, and Columbia University. Just a few small places, right? Adi holds a bachelor's degree in psychology and Spanish from Beloit College and a master's degree in counseling from DePaul. As a native of Cincinnati, Adi had a long stint in Chicago after college, which is how we met, and has found her true home in New York City. Outside of work, she loves exploring, dabbling in stand-up comedy, which you'll hear about, cooking elaborate meals for her friends, and reading fancy books on the train to silently humble brag to her fellow passengers that she's smart. This show is packed with some awesome experience that Adi and I had together working at Gallagher. I don't work at Gallagher. She works at Gallagher, but we're working together at Gallagher. And you'll also hear how we met. I'm just going to stop talking because Adi needs to show up. She is amazing. Get ready to improve it with my friend, Adi Clerman.
Hi, new friend. I'm Erin Deal, business improv edutainer, fail fluencer, and keynote speaker who is ready to help you improve your it. It being the thing that makes you, you. So think of me as your keeping it real professional development bestie who is here to help you develop yourself into the best version of you possible. So you can develop your team and lead with intentionality, transparency, and authenticity. Oh, and did I mention we're improving your it through play? That's right. I'm an improvisational comedy expert who uses experiential learning to help you have your aha, ha-ha moments. Those are the moments when the light bulb goes off and you're laughing at the same time. So grab your chicken hat, your notebook, and your inner child because I'm going to take you on a journey that is both fun and transformative. Welcome to the Improve It podcast.
Oh my God. Sometimes I sing you into the show. Adi. Isn't that so silly? Okay. I love when this is my favorite thing that podcast hosts do. Like you'll be talking before you hit record and then they'll be like, hello and welcome to the Improve It podcast. But no, for real, welcome to the Improve It podcast, Adi. I'm so happy to talk with you today.
Thrilled to be here. Thank you, Erin.
Oh my God. Well, and I was telling you before we hit record, she's tired. She's already had a day. But I said to myself, if there was anybody I would want to talk to today, it is you. You.
I will take that. I will take that compliment and receive it and enjoy it. And girl, I'm sorry you're so tired. What's the what? How you feeling?
What's the what? I know. Well, she fail fluenced today. I told you this earlier. I did the most when I said I'm going to do the least. And so that's really what this is. And then while doing the most, there were many fails per usual in the journey that are now comical. You know, you got to laugh at them. But I just, it was like one of those things where I'm like rushing around for like 5 hours. She gets home. I speak in third person now. She gets a smoothie and then she's like, here we go. We're going with a D. And so truly, like you bring joy to my life. I've known you for a long time. Tell our audience, who we call the Improve It peeps, how we met.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you. And hello, Improve It peeps. Excited to chat with you. And hopefully you enjoy our conversation today. I feel like we're all having a conversation, which is nice. I feel like a fair amount of people know the story if they know both Erin and myself. But we met a long time ago in Chicago, probably 13 years ago now, 12, 13 years?
Yeah, a
About
lot.
that?
Yeah.
We were at a Chicagoland Chamber networking event when I was working in higher ed at DePaul University, and you were not doing Improve It yet, but thinking about it. You were looking to hire interns, and we met at this networking event next to the cheese board, and we were both eating cheese and wanted to chat with each other, but our mouths were full. And then we both said, hi, we'll talk in a second, but this cheese is really good. And then it was fine. We were inseparable after that. And so it's been great. I think it's hilarious that that's how we met. And then we ended up you hired a lot of DePaul interns when you started Improve It, which was wonderful. We have kept in touch beautifully. Neither of us live in Chicago anymore. I'm in New York and you are in a city that begins with a C, because I got it wrong the first time. I was like Charleston or Charlotte, and I'm going to say it was Charleston. You are in Charleston.
I'm in Charleston. You crushed it.
Good.
Yes.
It's like, I'm not going to get it wrong again. And I can't believe I don't know that. But yeah, that's how we met. We met over cheese. And then when we both lived in Chicago, we had a lot of old lady lunches at a really fancy steakhouse. And we felt like we were making it happen. And now you're interviewing me for your podcast, for your incredibly successful business venture that you talked about and made happen. So kudos to you.
Oh my God. I love you. You know what? I feel like the universe is trying to tell me today, hey, remember where you came from, because some days you have those days when you want to beat yourself up about certain things, but that is the power of networking. Our story is so awesome to me. And I will never forget, I know I can picture us exactly in this room.
100%.
It was a giant cheese board too. I mean, it was beautiful.
It was really good. And they had multiple levels and the cheese was really good. It wasn't just cheddar cubes. They had Gouda and they had big blue cheese. I remember I had a lot of blue cheese because I was getting crumbles on my desk. But you know what? That just makes me more real and more authentic. Yeah.
That is 1,000% it. And I feel like if you ever struggle with networking, Improve It peeps, and you want to meet an amazing human like Adi, go find a cheese board. Go find a cheese board, stand near the cheese, because that's where the real magic happens. Say cheese, and it will happen. Say cheese. So cheesy. Oh my God. Okay. So now you are in New York. It's so ridiculous. You're in New York. Yeah. I'm here in Charleston. I only like cities that start with a CH. So you are now working, which just is another full circle moment. So let's talk about your role at Gallagher, AJ Gallagher, which is where you currently work, because Improve It worked with Gallagher years ago. And then I hear from a certain client, oh, we have this amazing new hire, Adi, that you're going to be working with on this potential project. And I was so happy. And you and I just were like, oh my God, this is full circle life moment. So tell us what you do at AJ Gallagher.
It was wacky in the most wonderful way. I remember my current manager, Julia, she said, oh, we're doing this, we're working with this corporate improv group called Improvement. And I was like Erin Deal? Is that who you mean? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I know her very well. And then I told her about the cheese board and she's like, okay, you can run with that. That's fine then if you guys know each other. And it worked out great. And also, we had Improve It this past year at one of our biggest intern events. And it was so wonderful and special to see how big and how important and exciting and fun Improve It has grown, and to meet your staff. I was like, your staff? Look at you and your staff. But it was really great. Very impressive, very cool. And I felt very excited to be part of that. So a little bit about my role. I work at AJ Gallagher and I live in New York City. It's based out of Rolling Meadows, Illinois. It's based out of Chicago. So it's kind of interesting that I'm in a office when I have nothing to do with Chicago anymore, which is crazy. I'm an early talent relationship manager. And essentially what that means is that myself and my team work to design and implement our intern and early talent programs with the purpose of retaining them and growing them within the organization. Or in very simple terms, we want to make sure that our interns and our early talent really enjoy their experience and stay with our company. So basically, we manufacture interesting, educational, and good times. That's what we do.
Yeah. You know what? I'm in a similar line of work. I get that. Yeah. And, I will tell you that it's so cool to see your career evolve because I know, we've known each other since you were back at DePaul. You're doing this now on, dare I say, a national or global scale? Would I say global or would I say national?
Our company is global, but our team is at a national level. And then our team has an intern and an early talent program that is national. Our intern program is about 500. Our early talent program is about 100, 150. And then I handle the North and Southeast region. So I handle that Eastern seaboard and I love it. It's really cool. But I get to be based out of New York, which allows me easy access to where I need to be.
Oh, I love it so much. And we worked together at Gallagher in the past. We've worked with Gallagher before, but nothing to this extent. Last year, you had 400 interns, if I'm saying that right.
A little, we're gonna bump that up to like 480.
480 last year it was 480. Okay, then I am very wrong. Yeah. And we had 4 simultaneous sessions happening where you had all of these groups sort of rotate throughout our workshops. And I will say, you have been on this show before, but just a sound clip, because I want to get to what happened in that workshop with Cameron later. We're going to talk about that later, and it's very exciting. So it's a cliffhanger, Improve It peeps. But what made your team really think about this outside approach to professional development, using improv as a tool to retain and to help them enjoy this experience and kind of gauge their interest? What was it that really stood out about improv in particular?
Well, one, I think our personality type for the students that we hire for our internship program, it's a really robust sales internship. And just like the natural personality of that tends to be a bit more extroverted, tends to be a bit more comfortable with taking risks. That's a big generalization, but I don't think I'm too far off. And 2, we are always looking for innovative and exciting ways to liven up these conferences. It's a large training conference that we were a part of. And so we wanted things that weren't dry, that were really unique and absolutely improve it fit the bill. So I think it was a combination. And 3, we obviously just had really nice connections there. So it all worked out. And we also talked about this a little bit behind the scenes. We're like, women-owned business. Yes, it's like a great diversity initiative too. Like, and we're supporting, like, it was really a lot of good pieces came together. So yeah, I think it was a combination of, 1, we didn't want anything to be dry. We wanted something that was like really fun, spontaneous, exciting, but also taught communication skills. 2, the types of students we hire tend to have a personality that lends itself nicely to this sort of risk. And then the 3rd is that we always really liked the organization and wanted to scale with it. So it's exciting.
Oh my God, you guys are the best. Well, and I will say this too. I think seeing it in action, working with, I physically did not facilitate these workshops, but knowing this population, knowing emerging leaders, it really is something that you have to think about from an internship perspective. You really have to think about, how can we be competitive? How can we give them an experience that isn't going to just be another, day in the life? We want something that's outside of the box. We want to change it up. And you're right, this group definitely rose to the occasion. And I see that a lot with emerging leaders. And you've worked with early career development I would say all your career, right?
Yeah, I would say the majority, if not all of my career, has been in some form of early talent, whether it was early talent recruitment, I was in higher ed career services for a long time, working with undergrad, intern, or sometimes like PhD or MD level students, but still early in their career or an exploratory phase. And then here at Gallagher in this role, what I really like about it is that it's a really nice combination of like my career coaching, my project management, my recruitment all into one, and in a really like nice, fast-paced environment. And it's something that I very much believe in, about giving people a really strong professional break or base, making people feel welcome at an organization, because feeling comfortable always helps retention.
Yeah.
And that's what true diversity and inclusion is, like making people feel included in different ways. So I feel very proud that, especially at Gallagher, we're creating programs that hope with the goal of making people feel comfortable, welcome, seen, heard, valued at the company. So at the end of the day, they stay with us.
Yes. And I love that. And that is, I love the initiatives with, I love, first of all, that you brought this up about inclusion, because I will say this, why I think improv really works as a teaching tool is because it puts everyone in that room on the same playing field. I mean, from a title perspective, from an ethnicity perspective, you can literally have a million different types of people in the same room, and you're all going through the same thing at the same time. You're all feeling this moment of uncertainty. And then that's my favorite thing to witness is this group of people coming together as, let's just say it's 20 individuals, walk out this cohesive group of 20, because together you have to postpone judgment through this idea of yes and. You have to allow all voices in the room to be heard in order for this art form to work. And you have to allow people to feel seen, heard, and valued. That's what happens when those things happen. People feel that way and they want to continue to show up and play. And I think it's just so cool what Gallagher is doing. I think it's so cool how you and your career have evolved so much over time, and you're really implementing the things that I think are the most important within organizations and cultures. So kudos to you.
Thanks. And like a little bit more context with that, and it's something that like I really appreciate about us and our relationship. I was so lucky to take one of your improv classes back in Chicago a long time ago, now like 10 years ago. And it was something that you invited me to. And I'm a pretty like outgoing person, but when I did a lot of the improv, like what is it called? Like when I did a lot of the improv sessions or
activities,
that's the word. There was a part where I got really tripped up and I could not think of whatever it was. Like I couldn't think of, like, I got stuck and I was silent and I was terrified because I felt all these emotions at once. I was like embarrassed. I was double embarrassed. I was scared. I felt weird. I kind of felt dumb. And like every single person around me from all these different, like there were men, women, different industries were there. And everybody was saying, go, go, go. You got it. You got it. And then I figured out whatever silly word I had to say, and it felt great. And I never forgot that, because like all my worst fears kind of came true, and I'm still here. And now you're interviewing me. So like, look at that. Ha.
Full circle. And you know what? I know exactly the workshop. I have pictures of you from it. And that is so cool, because that's what it is. It's a supportive space. We all have each other's back. And I love it so much as an art form. And I love that you got outside of your comfort zone years ago and trusted me enough to come to that. I love it, T. Get ready for some more Adi later this week. I loved this outside of the box approach to professional development. That's obviously what I do for a living, but you can really see that this type of work works with this population. Emerging leaders, and especially the ones at Gallagher, really latched on to this type of development. And what I will tell you is that I think, and I don't think, I know that this type of work can serve anyone. And I mean anyone. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think of one outside of the box thing you have done recently? What's one thing that you have done in your day-to-day that's outside the norm? I want you to write that thing down. And then I want you to challenge yourself to do one thing that is outside of the box this week. This week. I'm not talking next week. I'm talking this week. What can you do to change it up? Not only will that change shift your perspective, it's going to energetically shift you and your development, not only professionally, but personally. So really think about the outside of the box approaches you've taken in the past. Give them some credit. Say, I've done that, and get ready for some more. I'm so excited to share more with you from Adi coming tomorrow and the next day. Stay tuned. And as you know, my friends, I want you to keep failing, keep improving. Guess what just happened? I just dropped my laptop because the world needs that special it that only you can bring. I'll see you tomorrow. And this is Fail Fluencing at its finest. Improve it, peeps. You know I keep it real. I'll see you soon.
Hey friend, did you enjoy today's show? If so, head on over to iTunes to rate and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Now, did I mention that when you leave a 5-star review of the Improve It podcast, an actual team of humans does a happy dance? That's right. So leave a review for us on iTunes, screenshot it, and send me an email at info@learntoimproveit.com. I'll send you a personalized video back as a thank you. Thanks so much for listening. Improve it, peeps. I'll see you next Wednesday.